Everybody, we are at day 1795. Um, just a lot of news, a lot of changes in the United States. You see that? Um, I think the next couple days are going to be really historical. So 1795 days since Richard was forcibly taken from his barracks room and his life was ended. A U.S. Army soldier, distinguished honor graduate, and an aspiring CID agent. That's what he wanted to be. He wanted to be CID. Um, you know, all growing up, any kind of Sherlock Holmes, any kind of psych. He really liked psych. And Monk. I don't know if you know that, and any of these crime solving shows. That was Richard's interest. That's what he wanted to go into. So he was a whistleblower. Of course, he was a whistleblower, and we have confirmation that he was a whistleblower. And now we have, of course, the first step, because of all the evidence, was the designation that he was deceased, and that happened the 24th of April 2024. And then with even more um, evidence upon evidence for the evidence, confirming the evidence. They, on January 24th, 4 days after President Trump, who even has more evidence, um, can tell us a lot. He can tell us a lot. When that breaks, it's going to be amazing. Um, on January 24th, just 4 days after he took the oath of office, we received notice that Richard, of course, was killed in the line of duty on Fort Bliss. So that really confirms so much to us, right? Confirms so much. And why? Because he was a whistleblower for the criminal trafficking, and the criminal trafficking just gets more and more horrible, more and more horrible, because they let it go on and on. And so this is why I said that Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe has absolutely committed treason. He's a traitor, and because we have been at war, we have been at war. Um, and this was the argument when I said he's committed treason. Oh, well, we're not at war. We've been at war. We have absolutely been. All the deployments. What do you say about all the deployments? And all when you're dropping bombs, and when you're having being attacked and shooting, and all these years. Just think. I think in the last uh, since Trump took office, he's ended four? He's made peace, stopped 4 wars. That's what the claim is right now. So, so when all of this was happening in 2020, 2021, 2022, what do you call the whole COVID thing and all of that? If that's not war, this is all war. And uh, you know, uh, absolutely a traitor. Absolutely a traitor. These generals, absolutely a traitor. So, the evidence coming out from what's going on in Juarez is, so today is July, well, it's July 2nd right now, 10 minutes past 2025. That's my birthday. That's my happy birthday. Happy birthday to myself. Okay, I'm bringing it in. Yeah. Um, I've always been a very happy person on my birthday. Some people get sad as they get older, and this is a big one. This is a really big one. um, so I'm like, okay, let's Thank God for all these years and continue to work very, very hard for justice for El Pasoans, of course, for our son. And what does this mean in Juarez right now? What does this mean when they find um, and this is not the first one. This crematorium, uh, well, I want to call it the rotting body dumping site. The rotting body dumping site. That's what it is. When you have hundreds, they're saying about 400. And of course, there's been more. This has been going on. They've been profiting off of this. Um, when you are emboldened to give in the urns animal ashes instead of cremating the body, you're just cremating an animal and putting it in the urn. Um, yeah, when you're that emboldened that you've been doing it for a while and you have protection. And so that's the breaking news. The breaking news now is that they're connected to the political class. They're connected to those in power. And I would also say the Pan Party, that's the Pan Party in Mexico. I would say that they are connected to the Mormons, okay? That if you want to kind of know where they're at, they're more in line with like the Romneys and the Cheneys. I don't know if Cheney is Mormon, but those are uh, the Mormon sector there. Uh, I guess that's what um, rhinos. Maybe the Democrats. There's really no party, is there? I mean, you have Bill Hicks, uh, you know, supposedly being a rhino, but then you have Veronica Escobar. They're kind of like they're just trying to fool us by saying they belong to a party. I think that's what they're trying to do. Um, it's really a really dirty game because Bill Hicks was being supported by Purchase Funeral Home. That was his biggest donor, right? And he was their lawyer. He's their lawyer. He still is their lawyer. And this is all connected to funeral homes, funeral businesses, and of course, the criminal trafficking is absolutely part of it. And of course, the weapons are absolutely part of it, and the drugs are absolutely part of it. And when you have the organ trafficking part of it, it just gets worse and worse, right? It just gets worse and worse, and we're waiting to hear about all the things that they found. These individuals in uniforms, and you have to be very careful what you read in the newspaper because they twist and turn, whatever they can. But we know that they found remains in uniform still, which is like what? Um, and the word is that there's no really identification on these bodies, which normally there would always be identification if you're shipping bodies, right? And did these bodies come from the U.S.? Did they come from funeral homes in the U.S.? Um, that's a big question. And then, of course, the dog tags were, hearing that they found dog tags. We'd like to know about those. And so it's been a really, really busy day trying to figure out what's going on over there and, of course, in the politics. But I can tell you this, there's a crackdown going on. There's an absolute crackdown, a political party crackdown. There's a crackdown on the governor there in Chihuahua. There's a crackdown on where is Carlos um, um, Salos, Manuel Salos, right? Salas. Where is Carlos Manuel Salas? He's the AG. Where is he? Um, so that it seems to be missing. He seems to be missing, and this is important because he was given the right to live in the United States. So it's like, I'm the Attorney General of Chihuahua, Mexico, but I live in El Paso, Texas. That's just crazy. That's just, can you imagine if President Trump is like, I'm the president of the United States, but I'm living here in Canada, or I'm going to go live in Russia, or I'm going to live in China, or I'm going to live in. No, he's the president of the United States. Um, and he lives in the United States. Why is that not odd to hear that Carlos Manuel Salas lives in the United States when he is such a very powerful political individual, prosecutor that's not prosecuting? You can see that he's not prosecuting. Um, and he's allowed to live in the United States. He's given that visa through our State Department, right? Through our consulate there. And the other is that this pan party, what lost my what I wanted to say, and it'll come to me because these crematoriums, right? Uh, they have an owner. They have absolutely an owner that seems also to have connections in El Paso. And he, at the beginning, they didn't even arrest him, right? And I posted on that. They didn't arrest him. And now, because of pressure, you see, because it's getting in the media, there's pressure that they now are detaining him. Um, we'll see. It's all going to be on the pressure, the political pressure. And that comes from the media. The media has to report on the story. And now we're seeing AP, many, many different outlets reporting on this story. So, and that is going to absolutely cause pressure to get to the bottom of this and to get justice and hold these people accountable for having hundreds of corpses um, piled on each other. I mean, come on, that's sacrilege. So that is, and last night was pretty emotional live stream. Now we're just trying to make sense out of the whole thing so that we can get answers for this. And what it's telling us is that there's a crackdown with the governor, with the medical examiners, with the funeral homes, with the schools that handle human remains, big schools like Texas Tech University, Health Science Center, which is very important in this case. Um, you know, there's a lot of questions here on who did what and who was allowing the transfer of remains across the border. So um, we have a real possibility to get some answers with Richard now. Um, and I think that's what's going on. That's what's going on. The ability to see kind of through all of the media is what we've been given over all these years, and also because of everything that we've been doing behind the scenes, and of course President Trump being really the original target. All right, Richard was a witness for him for what he was doing, saying, "Yep, you're right. You're right. They're criminal trafficking. That border is up to no good. The border is up to no good, and the border needs to be secured." And yeah, and they couldn't tolerate that because it really is $1 billion business. So their target was Trump because he was the powerful one that could close that border. And Richard was a witness for him, empowered him. So gave him, it's kind of like this mandate now. When you vote and you're giving the president a mandate. And Richard gave President Trump a mandate about the border and about the criminal trafficking. So he was a real risk. He was a real risk to them. And that's why they did what they did. So thank you so much, everyone. If you have any information, especially if you had loved ones that you thought were being cremated and you had some shady things going on in El Paso, like we know with Purchase Funeral Homes, there's a lot of shady things. We know that they had control over the Walmart mass shooting victims, and there's shady things in the autopsy reports. We know that Mario Raskin Ortiz is illegal and unqualified and is very shady. He's been doing a lot of shady things. We know that Bill Hicks is, just partners with Purchase Funeral Homes. We know that he's connected to Amber Chase. Amber Chase is Mortuary Affairs. Same with Noosa. Noosa's brother is Mortuary Affairs, and others. There's others that are part of all of this. So, uh, yeah, just trying to organize that to put it up. Um, we realize that this is a crackdown on the political establishment in Mexico, and so it is coming. It is coming to El Paso. So if you know something, I'm telling you, the time has come for you to speak out. So thank you so much. Please share this, and I will be back tomorrow, God willing.